Today is May 10th, 2017. We're going to look at the pre-market activity. And we notice, first of all, that we have spent virtually the entire pre-market below the close of yesterday. That gives us a fairly strong bias for short. We look at the formation of the profile, and it's a fairly good looking profile. And this the formation of the profile is significant, because when you look at every day, if you look at the profile every day at the close, it obviously does not look like what it appeared to be at the open. Of course, it goes without saying. But the shape of the profile, all right, which should be, as this appears right here, a very fairly well-formed inverted bell-shaped curve. Okay, that's what it should look like. And so if you were to take a snapshot of the profile at the open versus the profile at the close and compare that day after day after day after day, okay, you would see how over the course of the day that profile changed its appearance. So when we look at the formation at the close of the previous day, we can see if we've got some areas of repair. And you could easily see that yesterday, as we tanked, we had all of this area of repair. And what happened overnight? That's just what it repaired. That whole area. So what we're doing is anticipating how the market will behave as it goes about repairing or completing the shape of the profile. And of course, this is the overnight, which looks, as we mentioned, very good. And for that reason, it may have very well completed what it needs to and is on its way back up, which, you know, it certainly appears as if it is. So now it's just a matter of, well, you know, how high will it go before it turns again, because we've got this bias. But at the same time, it's also a bias that may have completed the process of repair and is now on to new business, and that is getting back into a rally mode. So if you were looking for a study project, just go back and spend a month, look at a month worth of data of the pre-market as well as the current activity of the day. Look at the shape of the profile. And of course, this profile has no really obvious point of control. I mean, it obviously has a point of control, but it's not really clear. There's no real significant high volume area here. So for that reason, there's all sorts of areas of repair potentially in here. But just go back, take take a month worth of data or so, and just look at all of this. Look at the shape of the profile. Compare the previous day, the market, the pre-market activity to the next day, and you'll get an idea as to how the shape of the profile should look. And from that, have a pretty good idea of how the market should repair to produce a more well-formed market profile. It's about as much as I can say on that subject. It's going to take time just to look at the data so that you can see what we're talking about. Now let's get into where we think this is going. Again, we've got a bias here to the south, but at the same time, I see that this is fairly well formed, and for that reason, I'm thinking, yeah, we probably have some pretty significant upside here. Now, given how we've been behaving since 3:30 a.m., all right, roughly, we're heading toward the close of yesterday. That's certainly a target. And beyond that, then let's see. Yeah, we've got, of course, rather low volume in here. And it would look like we got some low volume in there too. So this, yeah, I'm really going to dismiss this bias here. And I have reason to think that we are headed up. But you know, right now from 87 to I'm just calculating here. So if we get right back to the close, which is where we're headed, we will have moved sufficiently enough to change the trend if we're using a 6-point move as the basis for a trend change. That's very achievable. But we've got low volume down at 90.50. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And so that may be a good place for us to be bouncing off of. But I would think that the market's going to really head north right out of the gate, then maybe come down and begin to do a little bit of repair, because there's some repair that has to be done. And here we are at the open. Now we're heading down to that area of repair almost immediately at 90.50. Yeah, right there at 90.50. So we went ahead and got long in here. And we could take profits right at 93.50, and that would have been a real, or that, I shouldn't say would have been, that will be a fairly nice trade, but we're having a little difficulty with our screens this morning. My trades are not showing up in the matrix. Why is that? That's not good. We've just been disconnected. All right, come back. Yeah, we really did not do much repair at around 90.50. That I think we're going to need to spend a little bit more time down there. You can see how we kind of fall off in volume below here. And so it looks like we're kind of headed in that direction. Right now we've dropped to that little node here, but we're also turning a bit. And we've got area of repair right in here. You can see that. As well as down here. As we said, we're in a short, technically, you know. As I said, I think we're going to move in that direction of the close, but looks to me like we are trying to actually drop here. We may want to get out of this. I'm having a little computer problem here. Okay, we'll come back in a couple of minutes here. Data is not propagating. Well, I don't know if you're having the same problems that I am having this morning, but this data is not flowing the way it should. So we're going to suspend this video until we've got some further correction on this. Our target at the moment is the 93.50 area. We'll come back in a few minutes. Well, we've lost the internet, so we will conclude this video and maybe make another one once we can get back. That's it for this morning.